Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, Minister of Civil Aviation, Commerce and Industry, Government of India will now grace the chair of this next session coming up. I'd like to invite on the dais Mr. Rabindra Prasad Adhikari of Nepal, Minister of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation. Please join me here on the dais. Very warm welcome to you. I'd also like to invite Senator Hadi Abubakar Sirika, Minister of State for Aviation for Nigeria. Warm welcome to you too. I'd also like to invite on stage Mr. Mikołaj Wild, First Deputy Minister of Infrastructure of Poland. Warm welcome to you too. Mr. Arjuna Ranatunga, Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation of Sri Lanka. Warm welcome to you too. I'd also like to invite on the dais Ms. Aishat Nahula, Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation, Maldives. A warm welcome to you too. With permission from the chair, may I invite the first speaker to address us? I'd now like to request Mr. Rabindra Prasad Adhikari of Nepal, Minister of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation, to please put forth his viewpoint in this session.
His Excellency Minister of Civil Aviation, Government of Nepal, Shri Suresh Prabhu, Excellency Ministers from different countries, President of ICAO, distinguished delegates, eminent personalities, and global aviation leaders, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. This is a distinct honor and privilege to be invited to this historic global aviation summit being held in the beautiful and historical city Mumbai. First of all, I, on behalf of government and people of Nepal and on my own, extend my sincere appreciations to the government and people of India for hosting such an important summit. I express my special thanks to the government of India for the warm hospitality and excellent arrangement for me and a member of my delegation. The world today is a global village thanks to the significant transformation made in the arena of connectivity. It would not be hyperbole to state that the entire global economic landscape of the 21st century has been shaped by the information technology and transport sector. Aviation is one of the fastest growing phenomena in the economic trajectory around the world. It has miraculously transformed, of course, with positive result, the livelihood of the far-flung area and geographically adverse locations. Figures show the continued growth and expansion of this sector. As per ICAO preliminary report, a total of 4.3 billion passengers were carried by air transport in the year 2018. This indicates the growth by 6.1% in passenger traffic worldwide compared to the figure of previous year. Asia Pacific region is the fastest growing region with an increase in traffic growth by 7.3% in 2018 compared to 2017. This region has also emerged as the largest domestic market with 42% of traffic share worldwide. Excellencies and delegates, aviation sector has remarkably evolved in Nepal and has entered into the livelihood of Nepalese people. It serves mainly two purposes in Nepal: one tourism and another domestic means of transportation. As a landlocked nation, over 80% of the total international arrival into Nepal are by air, making aviation the most indispensable mode of transport in Nepal to Nepal's tourism. Similarly, with 83% of the total area being mountains and hilly, Nepal has difficult geographic terrain, making road transport still not adequate. Aviation has thus been the best alternative means of transport to remote and mountains locations. Ever since Nepal adopted economic liberalization policy in the 1990s, 9 private airlines have been operating service across the nation, and 2 of them have started flying to international destinations as well. With the formulation of Civil Aviation Policy in 1993, followed by Civil Aviation Act 1996, and independent regulatory body named Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal can name into existing in 1998. Your Excellencies, over the last 70 of our aviation journey, we have achieved quite a lot. We are directly connected to 24 international destinations of the world by 29 international airlines. Tourism is the expanding and developing with remarkable growth ratio, and its economic benefit and percolating into grassroots level thanks to Nepal natural, cultural, adventure and pilgrim product and activities, and thanks to international travelers who have chosen Nepal as their desired destination. Fact and figure in Nepal have painted a beautiful picture of passengers. The year 2018 witnessed an increase of 13.85 in the number of international passengers in flux, while 15.45 in the number of domestic passengers in comparison to the figures of the year 2017. However, we have been experiencing various constraints and limit our speed and expansion due to ever increasing number of air traffic growth and geographical and physical limitation of the only international airport. Nepal has initiated construction of new international airport and also expansion of the existing domestic airport to accommodate international traffic. Here, I would like to take this opportunity to extend sincere thanks and appreciation to our friendly countries that have been extending their support in capacity building of Nepal aviation sector. In particular, the support of Government of India to build and establish airport infrastructure and system during early days of aviation development of Nepal is highly appreciated. I am pleased to inform you that the Gautam Buddha airport located near Lumbini, birthplace of Lord Buddha, and one of the airports supported by India during the establishment is being upgraded and expanded into Gautam Buddha International Airport. The construction work is at its final stage, and it will be completed by the end of this year. Similarly, another international airport at the tourist city, Pokhara, is under construction, and it is expected to be completed by mid-2021. We believe both the airport will be instrumental in developing tourism activities not only in Nepal but also in this region. Nepal is also planning to build full-fledged international airport at Nizhgad, southern part of Nepal, near the capital Kathmandu, to complement the existing Tribhuvan International Airport. In the addition, we have been developing infrastructure and equipment to support the traffic growth in the domestic sector as well. Excellencies, I am pleased to share with all of you that Nepal has embarked upon a new era of economic transformation, having successfully settled the long-standing political problem. Under the Federal Democratic Republic Constitution, we have successfully conducted all three-tier elections, federal level, provincial level, and local level. This government is firmly committed to all democratic value and economic agenda with the mission of prosperous Nepal, happy Nepali. We invite foreign investment in tourism and civil aviation. Nepal is also a very fine, very fertile soil for the investment in air sport activities as well. I consider this the most appropriate time in history for investment due to political stability and investment-friendly policy. We are all aware of aviation safety standard and have adopted policies and enforce law and ensure all kind of safety measures. I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate ICAO for their support in our various efforts to meet aviation safety standard and for honoring Nepal with Council President certificate by recognizing the efforts of its progress in resolving aviation safety oversight deficiencies and for its ongoing commitment to the effective implementation of ICAO standard and recommended practice. We are confident that we will continue to receive support and cooperation from aviation fraternity from around the world so that we can work together in our collective mission of making aviation sector in the world safe and comfortable. We have already expedited the process of amending Civil Aviation Act with the objective of making required legal reform in the sector. This act will establish separate institutional entities for operation and regulation of aviation sector in Nepal. In addition, we are amending the Civil Aviation Security Regulations 2050 to address the issue surrounding the security concern in aviation sector. We uphold all norms, principles and values and once again express our full commitment to maintaining aviation safety standard. We express the same ambition of enabling flying for all. Distinguished delegate, Nepal is celebrating 2020 as a Visit Nepal year to position the tourism image of Nepal as the destination of lifetime experience to double the international arrival and the revenue share to the national GDP. I invite all of you to Nepal for your lifetime experience. I believe this is a brilliant forum to learn the dynamic of civil aviation around the world through honorable ministers and other participants. The expert deliberations and presentation in various sessions during this summit will be resourceful recipe for the civil aviation professionals, policymakers and scholars. This summit has provided a great opportunity to interact with each other and learn from one another's experience. Finally, I once again congratulate the Government of India and other co-organizers for perfect preparation for the Global Aviation Summit, which I wish a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you for those words. I'm now going to request Senator Hadi Abubakar Sirika, Minister of State for Aviation, Nigeria, to please put forth his viewpoint in this session.
Mr. President of ICAO Council, Dr. Olumiwa Bernard Aliyu, who, by the way, was born and bred in my country, Nigeria, and I thank you for having confidence on the gentleman who has been doing us a great deal of good. Honorable Minister and honorable ministers, delegates, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I stand here and I'm not by any way or means intimidated by Saudi Arabia or India because of all those statistics and numbers that they reeled out this morning. I think Nigeria, in its own modest way, has not done too badly in aviation, civil aviation. Nigeria, of course, went under a very long military rule, and that military dictatorship slowed down the progress in the country, but since the last 2 decades, it has changed from military to democracy, and then from civilian democracy to another civilian opposition democracy. So democracy is in Nigeria to stay. 200 million people, 926,766 square kilometers of land. We are geographically at the center of the world, equidistant from all locations, especially locations in Africa. And if you look at that region in West and Central Africa, the population is 600 million people. And the player there is Nigeria, with 34% rate of return of investments. And if I try to do, that's why I'm not intimidated. If India with 1 billion people does 200 million passengers, Nigeria with 200 million people is doing 20 million. So you could see it's about the same numbers anyway. Well, thank you very much for the invitation, Honourable Minister, and the opportunity to speak. And just yesterday we signed bilateral air service agreement with India, because we have a lot of socio-cultural synergy between our two countries. Most Nigerians speak Indian language not because they have been here, but because they've been watching the movie, the Indian movie. So thank you again, India. Now, just very quickly, since we have a few minutes, we have a roadmap since we assumed leadership of aviation in Nigeria. Most of our roadmap is on PPP, public-private partnerships, with 34% rate of return. We think is a good place for investments. We are concessioning our airports, starting with the 4. We have about 30 airports. We're starting with Lagos, Abuja, Kano, and Port Harcourt. In the roadmap, we're also going to establish a new national carrier, and the name national because there's going to be some sovereign shoulder on which to lean on by the airline, but it's going to be private sector led and driven. Of course, because there is absence of an MRO within the region, we considered the Royal Air Morocco serving Air France and the Royal Air Morocco. We considered the Egypt serving Egypt Air. Recently, they ordered 30 airplanes. We considered Ethiopian serving ET mainly, and then that's about it in Africa, really. So we believe that Nigeria is a very good candidate for MRO through a PPP partnership. Agro-allied cargo terminals, we are putting up 7 by government, which later will be transferred to private sector. Aviation leasing company is also on the way, and that aviation leasing company is to allow, of course, for good source of funding for our infrastructure and for our aviation businesses. We are coming up with an aerospace university, and we're having support from ICAO and some other countries, which we hope, including India, might come to support that university to go into research and development in aviation. And we would come to the level and surpass those that we start aviation together, of building planes and going into future of aerospace. We have done our acts, i.e. the civil aviation legislation, and it's now before the National Assembly to try to put the aviation sector to where it's supposed to be in accordance with ICAO SAPs. We are reorganizing the agencies and parastatals under the Ministry of Transportation and Aviation to make them at par with their counterparts around the world, especially that when we started, we noted that it's top-heavy and consuming all of the funding, and to clearly demarcate service provision by some of them and those that are regulators, the Civil Aviation Authority. Civil Aviation Authority is fully autonomous, and they'll be given more powers to be both financially and administratively independent of government. Of course, the critical elements of ICAO is under consideration, and we've done very well by the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology becoming a regional center of excellence for ICAO. They've got many awards recently, one of which is the highest number of trainings conducted within that institution, and also the highest number of instructors for the region as well. The Accident Investigation Bureau is being remodeled to take the form and shape of a multimodal accident investigation bureau to include maritime, roads, and so on. In Nigeria, of course, we have no significant safety concern. We have achieved a greater than 60% effective implementation of safety oversight. We've retained the FAA Category 1 status without any external consultants. We have certified our airports, our international airports, and that also in-house. And of course, the safety audit, the security audit, Nigeria scored 96.4%. That is near perfect, 96%. And we're building new terminals, new airport terminals. We've just commissioned that of Abuja recently, and Port Harcourt. The one in Abuja will be doing now 15 million. We will expand it to do 30 million. We intend to achieve that 30 million mark by 2030. Currently, Nigeria, as at 2017 figures, is doing 20 million, like I said. By 2015, it was doing 15 million. So you could see the growth. And when we compared Q1, quarter 2 of 2017, and quarter 1, quarter 2 of 2018, we saw that the domestic passenger has grown by about 33%. And then the international has grown by 13.5%. This is an astronomical growth. This is beyond what we think. So it means that we should do more investments. Some of the commitments that we have is the single African air transport market. Nigeria is signatory, and we signed the solemn declaration, and we're committed to single African air transport market. I want to share with you that as a public officer, each time I pick up my pen to sign something, I do know that I'm signing on behalf of 180 million people. So it's a very serious matter. However, in the course of doing my duty at one time, I realized that there is some hue and cries by the players in the industry that we've allowed certain airlines like Ethiopian to have multiple entry points within Nigeria. As a policymaker, we thought that we're taking air transportation to the doorstep. We don't think it as inhibiting growth. We feel that the passenger who is in Enugu or Kano, if he would have to fly to Lagos to join a flight to Doha or to Dubai or to Bombay, he would have to pay for that local transportation and add it to his cost. But if he will fly out of Enugu or Kano, it will ease his doing business. So we thought we should go ahead with that policy, and we would, of course, have a lot of fifth freedom in place very soon. We will liberalize the sector, and we're committed to SATEM, like I said. We have put a policy in place that aircraft importation and spares attracts zero duty from customs, and our international airports will soon become free zones. And then, of course, VAT is exempted from shared transportation, including aviation. And when we came in 2015, as a government and I as a minister, we had about $600 million locked up funds by airlines. Within no time, we cleared that backlog of $600 million. And today, there is no airline that its money being held in Nigeria. Visa on arrival is in place for Nigeria to ease business. We've done we have about 84 bilateral air service agreements in place. We have open skies with US, and we've also introduced, because we had an experience when we came in and we tried to secure our airports, we have in place, Mr. President has allowed and approved, President Muhammadu Buhari approved that our aviation security should go the extra mile to look after our airports, and they would bear arms for those that will not be within the passenger terminals but around the airports. And those that are going to be interacting with passengers are well trained in a civilized manner to handle passengers and to keep our airports safe. Well, we raised the GDP contribution by aviation from 0.4% to 0.6%. It's our hope that we'll raise it to 1% before I leave as minister, God willing. We are committed to improving our infrastructure. We had the unfortunate incidents of having to close down our airport, the only single runway that we have in Abuja, for total reconstruction and rehabilitation. And we are committed to 6 weeks project, and we achieved that within 6 weeks, actually minus 1 day. And we held conferences, and we are host to the world. The IWAF 3 and the RPAS, the Remotely Piloted Aircraft Systems Symposium of ICAO, was held successfully in Abuja, and also the IWAF ICAO World Aviation Forum on aviation financing. We certified our airports in accordance with ICAO provisions. And then we have, very quickly, before I round up, to say some of the inhibitions that we have seen while operating in this industry. Nigeria, we have a policy that every single agency of government must remit 25% of its revenue to federation account. And this, whether you are a service provider or you are on cost recovery basis like the CAA, and that is being tended to, and I can guarantee you within few days or few months, we'll get it cleared by government. Then, of course, we know that 80% of carriers that are operating in Africa are non-Africans. This we intend to stop by bringing in, to compete favorably, by bringing in place the Nigerian national carrier. It was suspended for some strategic reasons. It's coming back full-blown this year. And in air transport, in air space management, the strategic objective of Nigeria air navigation plan is to develop an ATM, airspace, and aerodrome capacities that will seamlessly interoperate between themselves and seamlessly, in accordance with global ATM systems, in order to safely, efficiently, and effectively, and securely, of course, economically accommodate the projected traffic demand that we've seen in Nigeria, and that must be in tandem with the environmental provisions, and it will be sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a very short period for me to reel out and discuss fully our experiences, but I thought the bit that I've said, it's good enough for this purpose. However, on our website, the aviation website, the Ministry of Transportation Aviation, with full-blown activities of the industry. The best that I would like to recommend that you read is the systems that we adopted in trying to concession our airports. We appointed transaction advisor. They have brought the outline business case for both the concession of the airports and the national carrier. Please take time to visit www.nigeriatransportation.com, and all of those will be there. And I thank you very, very much indeed for allowing me the opportunity to speak, and I see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you to you for addressing the delegates here in this session. I'm now going to request Mr. Mikołaj, Deputy Minister of Infrastructure, Poland, to please share his thoughts with us.
Thank you. Mr. Minister, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation for this outstanding event. It's an honor to be here, and we are very proud to be participating in this project. Let me provide you some dates about Poland and aviation market in Poland. Poland is one of the fastest growing economies in the European Union, and together with Lithuania is the fastest growing aviation market in Europe. At the same time, our national carrier, which is LOT company, is most aggressive airline in the Europe, which means it opens the number of the new directions in this continent. These and the third dates I'd like to provide you. This last year, we have launched the project of the Solidarity Transport Hub, which is completely new multimodal hub designed for the region of the Central Eastern Europe with over 180 million inhabitants. The Polish aviation strategy is based on 3 values. These values are connectivity, development, and solidarity. First, the connectivity. Poland is placed right in the middle of the Europe. The geographical middle point of Europe is placed in Poland. At the same time, Poland is located in the eastern border of the European Union. This gives us the occasion to be at the same time the gateway to the European Union and the hub for Central Eastern Europe region. We want to take this opportunity serious, and STH, Solidarity Transport Hub, is the answer for this challenge. As I mentioned before, our national carrier is opening a new direction, and India is one of the most important, most relevant market for us. Yesterday, I have had the honor to sign with Mr. Minister the MOU about supporting the civil aviation cooperation between our 2 countries. And today, I'm happy to announce that on 17 September, LOT Polish Carriers is going to set up the new direct connection between Warsaw and New Delhi, Warsaw, capital city of Poland, and New Delhi. And after 25 years, Polish aviation is coming back to India, and this is very important moment for us. So thank you, India. Thank you for this beautiful birthday present for LOT company. LOT company has 9th anniversary this year. It was established 1929. So it couldn't be a better birthday gift for us, the new direct connection between our 2 countries. The second pillar is the development. We strongly believe in modernization of the aviation sector. We have signed last month the National Aviation Strategy with IATA, which helps us to modernize our airspace. We have launched one of the first drone demonstrator a few months ago, in order to provide the best possible environment for the drone system. And the LOT company has doubled number of aircraft in order to face the challenges we have set for this company as an owner. And last but absolutely not least, the Solidarity Transport Hub, which is at the same time, as I said before, hub for the Central Eastern Europe and a gateway to the European Union for the East, and multimodal railway station, which shall be capable to cover all the railway traffic of Poland and this region of Europe. And the third value is the solidarity. Solidarity we treat as a world trademark, and this is the way we understand. This is the way we understand this searching for balance between private and public interest in aviation, which means flying for all, which means the all duty not only to the potential customers, but at the same time to all stakeholders of the aviation sector. The flying for all means for us not only for the richest, not only for the strongest, it means open market, opening the possibilities for all participants, for new companies, for new out-of-the-box treating the aviation, of course, for new branches of the economy. So, connectivity, development, and solidarity. These help us to navigate, and I'm very glad to find this strong foundation for these three values during this fantastic event. So once again, thank you, Mr. Minister. Thank you, Aida. I wish you all the best. We are sure that you are able to achieve your goals. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm now going to request Mr. Arjuna Ranatunga, Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation, Sri Lanka, to please share his thoughts with us in this session.
Before Mr. Ranatunga speaks, because there are people from all parts of the world, including some parts of the world where they don't know what cricket is. So I want to just share with you that he is one of the top cricketers of his time, won the World Cup for his country, the first ever World Cup he won for his country, and one of the very popular cricketer, not just in his own country, obviously he is the most popular, but almost all the cricket playing countries, he is one of the most popular cricketer. And now he happens to be the minister. So the way he won the World Cup for Sri Lanka, I am sure he will now won a good cup for the entire aviation sector in his capacity as the Minister for Transportation.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your kind words. Honorable Suresh Prabhu, the Minister for Aviation, and State Minister Mr. Singh, Secretary to the Aviation, Excellencies, and friends. At the outset, I would like to thank the Government of India and the Minister Prabhu for inviting me for this very important forum. My first visit to India was in 1980 as a schoolboy cricketer who was representing the Sri Lankan cricket team and had the opportunity to travel right around India. The issues we had was when we were young and old, when I was representing the national team as a player and a captain. Honorable Minister, we had the issues at the airports, mainly the toilets. Now, I wanted to congratulate the Government of India and the Minister for Civil Aviation for their initiative to transform ordinary airport to world-class airports in a very short time. By shifting towards PPP model for development purposes, Sri Lanka too looking at the same model to develop our, not only the aviation sector, even the transport and shipping sector. I had the privilege a couple of years back when I visited Mumbai to meet Mr. G.V.K. Reddy and Sanjay. And I had a couple of hours with them, and they were showing me, and I was learning how to develop a normal airport to a world-class and the best airport in the world. I'm sure everyone knows Sri Lanka went under a terrorism war for 30 years. We were lucky we could finish that in 2009. 4 years back in 2015, Sri Lanka formed a new government under the Excellency President Maithripala Sirisena and Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe as the Prime Minister, where two main parties took together, and for the first time, the two major parties decided to join as one government. And we ran this government for 4 years, and we had a lot of development plans, especially in the north and east, where a lot of developments were supposed to happen, and we had a lot of initiatives to reconstruction and resettlement of the north and east. I just wanted to brief you on some of the aviation opportunities you all have. I'm not going to get into all the details on the world map, but looking at Sri Lanka as a base, with the projected increase in passenger traffic from current figure of 8.5 million to estimated figure of 21 million in 2035. The government of Sri Lanka has planned several measures to cater to demand of not only international traffic, but also improve facilities for domestic air travel and also logistics operations in the country. We are developing an airport called Palale, which is about 25 kilometers away from Jaffna. We are looking at developing this airport as a regional airport, which will be very easier for the South Indian travelers. Then we have another domestic airport which is very close to Colombo, located in south suburb of Colombo. We are concentrating on domestic traffic and business jet hub, which is very close to Colombo. I'm sure you all are aware about the port city development has commended, and a lot of private investors are trying to invest on this project. The Ratmalana expansion, that is one of the local domestic airports, which has been run by the Air Force and occupied by the Air Force, has handed over to the Aviation a couple of days back. So we are looking at large hangar space, which should be available for FBOs and MROs, and increase the passenger lounge area to accommodate and increase domestic traffic. We have 9 local airports, which is currently operated by the Air Force. The present government has discussed with the airport and Air Force authorities to try and develop these areas into local local airports. And the other area, establishment of logistic hub at Ratmalana. Expansion of flight training facilities at Ratmalana presently restricted due to lack of space. Then extending FBOs, MROs, and logistic hub facilities at Mattala Airport, which remain unutilized, and also flexibility in exchange of commercial traffic rights with multilateral or bilateral partner states. We had discussions with the Indian Aviation and looking at developing. We have large area in the Mattala South area. We are looking at developing and getting more people towards south of Colombo, where it will be very easy to travel to the middle of Sri Lanka. The Asia Pacific MRO market is expected double in 2025 to 32.2 billion. And the possible saturation of the MRO hubs in the region, such as Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and China, and the ever-increasing number of aircraft in operation would make the availability of the facility in Sri Lanka attractive proposition. Sri Lanka had the potential to develop its regional and global aviation market and transform its aviation sector into catalyst for economic growth. The government of Sri Lanka, therefore, consider it's vital to support and encourage the development of the aviation industry in Sri Lanka in order to contribute to the economic perspective of the country. I would like to, before I conclude, I would like to once again congratulate the Minister for organizing a very important global event, and I wanted to wish the Government of India and the Minister all the success in the future. And in the meantime, before I conclude, I would like to invite the investors to Sri Lanka. There are a lot of opportunities for aviation, shipping, industries area where you will have a opportunity to have a PPP agreements with the government of Sri Lanka. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for those words. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to request Ms. Eshat Nahula, Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation, Maldives, to please put forth her points.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Minister, Shri Suresh Prabhu, Minister of Civil Aviation, Commerce and Industry. Honorable Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A very good afternoon. First of all, I would like to extend a very special thanks to Honorable Minister Shri Suresh Prabhu for extending an invitation to the Maldives. It is with honor and privilege I speak to you as the Minister for the Maldives here in this distinguished forum. It is the first time I have had opportunity to take part in a forum like this, and I have to be honest, the excitement and learning curve is never disappointing in the aviation industry. Aviation plays an important role in the Maldivian economy. It has a significant contribution to our GDP, the highest in the Asian Pacific region. Therefore, the government is gearing up investments in the aviation and tourism industries. We would like to maintain our growth level and annual increase in passenger numbers. Almost all visitors to our country, the sunny side of life, arrive by air. We have an emerging infrastructure of domestic transport options for those wishing for a total package of sun, sea, and sand. Apart from the transport modes, we have developed a network of domestic airports. Also, we have an amazing float plane operation that we would give you a breathtaking views of our beautiful islands with all the colors the nature has to offer. Ladies and gentlemen, float plane operations began in the Maldives in 1993 with just 2 aircraft on the float. The operation has expanded rapidly in the last 2 decades. More than half of our civil registered aircrafts are float planes. The number of movements that the volume of passenger transfer keeps on increasing as the industry is in its full gear of expansion. There are unique characteristics in the Maldives float plane operations, and there is nothing like it in the entire world. One good example would be that our pilots fly float planes on barefoot. To put it simply, our float plane operation is an exclusive form of art. You would have to visit in person to appreciate what it has to offer. Thank you very much and enjoy.
A thank you to all the honorable ministers who've participated as panelists in this session, and a thank you to the honorable chair of this session. Thank you all very, very much. If you'd like to come together for a group photograph, please, post the session. And while they're doing that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to share with you all that the media briefing with the 2 honorable ministers, Shri Suresh Prabhu and Shri Jayant Sinha, will happen at Grand Salon 2 shortly. I'm going to request you all to please join us for lunch in the courtyard. As you exit the hall, all you have to do is turn to your left and walk a little ahead. Our team will guide you towards the courtyard for a lunch break. Now, this lunch break has been shortened a wee little bit. It'll be about 45 minutes from now. We'll see you all back in your seats for the future sessions. The honorable ministers will be heading to the lobby level, to the drawing room for their lunch. The delegates will be all headed towards the courtyard. As I just said, exit the hall and take a left towards courtyard for the lunch. Thank you very much. I'll see you all after the lunch break. I'm going to request members of the media to please join us in Grand Salon 2. And while all of you are walking out, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to urge you all to download the event app available on Play Store for a truly digital experience of this conference. Once again, I urge you to download the event app available on Play Store for a truly digital experience of this Global Aviation Summit. The link to the app is also available in your messages, in your emails. You can also scan the QR codes displayed at every entry gate and registration counter. I'd also like to share with you all as you walk out that post-lunch we have interesting quiz and challenges awaiting you with lots and lots of prizes. So do come back for that in 45 minutes from now and enjoy your lunch.